It was a monster the likes of which mankind had never seen. Before long, 3 cities were destroyed by the monster. Millions of people were killed, and its only goal was to kill the creatures of Earth. It took 6 days to kill it, using every weapon in the arsenal. But that was just the beginning. 6 months later, another monster struck again. This one was highly poisonous. Although the monster was destroyed, the Earth was devastated. The monsters continued to appear, and conventional weapons were no longer a threat. In order to defeat the monsters, mankind began to build new weapons and started the Hunter program, which resulted in the creation of heavy mechs. The mechs needed to be operated by humans, and because they were so large, they had to be operated by 2 people. As the mechs went into battle, the humans continued to win. As the monster was about to be destroyed, a new problem arose. Mech pilots were getting injured in the difficult battles, and there were fewer and fewer pilots, while the number of monsters continued to grow. The United Nations decided to abandon the development of mechs to save money and started to build a wall along the coast to defend against the monsters. It's no ordinary project, and people are getting killed and injured every day. Lori doesn't complain about it because building walls is much easier for him than fighting monsters. It turns out Lori used to be a pilot too. 5 years ago, he joined his brother in battle. They were piloting the rover, and when they were fighting a monster, they thought they had killed it, but it was so strong that it came out of the water again. It ripped off the arm of the mech and tore its head off, taking their brother with it. At that critical moment, Lori activated the electromagnetic cannon. Although she managed to kill the monster, the mech was severely damaged and was no longer able to fight. Unable to cope with his brother's death, Lori gave up piloting the mech and joined the construction of the wall. On that day, the news reported that there was another monster invasion in Sydney, and the wall that had already been built was easily broken down by the monster. This makes Lori, who has been working so hard, question her life. The wall they have been building for so many years is nothing but a piece of paper to the monsters. Mere defense is useless. The general decides to restart the Mechs program. In order to defeat the monster, he finds Lori and convinces him to return to the base. A giant monster invaded Sydney and destroyed the impenetrable walls. After the attack, the mechs show up just in time, activating their chest missiles and blasting the monster to destroy it. Lori and the general arrive at the base, where the only 4 remaining mechs are stored. The only 4 remaining mechs are the Storm Red from China, the Cherno Alpha from Russia, the Eureka Raider from Australia, and the Dangerous Rover, which Lori used to pilot. 5 years ago, the rover was severely damaged and scientists upgraded it, so now Lori only needs a co-pilot. During the pilot selection process, he accidentally discovered Mako's talent for combat and decided to pilot with him. However, piloting the mech requires a mental connection between the 2. During the simulation training, Mako has a flashback to his tragic childhood and begins to have a nervous breakdown, inadvertently activating the Mechs plasma cannon. Luckily, the scientists were able to cut off the power in time, which saved the base from being destroyed. After connecting with the monster's brains, Mako accidentally discovered the secret of the monster's invasion. It turns out that these monsters were cloned from alien creatures, and they opened up a channel under the sea, and the monsters were transported here by this channel. The monsters will increase in number until they completely take over the Earth. At that moment, the base alarm sounded. 2 monsters invaded again. The general immediately dispatched Storm Red and Alpha to attack at the same time, ready for backup. The monster came out of the sea and knocked down Storm Red with a swipe of its tail. Storm Crimson's 3 mechanical arms turned into rotating blades and cut the monster several times, but it didn't hurt the monster a bit. It grabbed Storm Red and stuck the spike on its tail into Storm Red's heart, killing the pilot and the mech instantly. The Alpha was about to charge up when the monster sprayed acidic venom at the Alpha, which instantly corroded the Alpha's metal shell. At the same time, another monster appeared from the sea, and Alpha was torn apart. The Raiders are finally on the field and are about to release a missile to kill the monster when it roars and releases a powerful electromagnetic pulse. The power of the whole city is paralyzed, and even the Raiders can't move. The monster was about to attack them when a giant Mechs appeared. This Mega Mechs is completely unaffected by the EMP. Mako finally overcomes his fears and goes head-to-head with the monster. The Rangers rip off the monster's back mechanism but are thrown off by the monster, which follows them to the shore. Rover turns on his elbow thrusters and punches the monster's head. After a fierce battle, Rangers turn on the electromagnetic cannon close to the monster ray output and finally succeeded in destroying it. At that moment, another monster has landed and is looking for humans in the city. Rangers immediately rush to support it. The monster launched another acid attack, but Rangers dodged it nimbly. The rover throws a heavy punch to block the monster's mouth, and the monster uses its tentacles to wrap itself around the rover's other arm. In the nick of time, the rover unleashes a freezing liquid, which freezes the tentacle into ice. It shatters the tentacles with an elbow strike, and the enraged monster opens its arms and evolves wings, grabbing the rover and flying off into space. As the altitude rises, the oxygen gets lower. The rover turns on its mech sword again and begins to plummet. Just as it was about to hit the ground, Lori turned on the jet system and managed to land with a cushioning force. The general decides to blow up the passageway. He replaces the other pilot into the sneak attacker and the Rangers to the bottom of the sea together. And at this point, the Doctor discovers that the Time Rift recognizes the monster's DNA, and he must join the monster if he wants to get in there. And just as the Mechs reach the bottom of the sea, 3 more monsters appear, and the 3rd monster is bigger than all the previous monsters, and directly knocked the sneak attackers off the ground. But the Rangers were also attacked by 2 monsters, and just as they were about to destroy the monsters, their right arm was bitten off by another monster. The Rangers turned on their lightsabers once more and killed the monster with a single stroke of their sword. Just as he was about to jump down the passage with the monster, the giant monster began to summon its companions. In order for Lori to complete her mission, the general decided to sacrifice himself. He purposely angered the monsters, and sure enough, 2 of them swung towards the attackers. Just as they are about to collide, the general activates the Raiders' destruction system, and a ray of light instantly explodes, destroying the monsters and the Raiders' pilot together. Just as the Rangers were about to jump down the rift, another giant monster appeared, and it turned out that it wasn't dead. In order to save the planet, the Rangers activate their thrusters and jump at the monster, falling into the passage with it. When the monster tries to fight back, Lori turns on the nuclear reactor in her chest, and the heat freezes through the monster. The Rangers follow the monster's corpse into the tunnel. At this point, the oxygen in the mech has been depleted. In order to save his teammates, Lori ejected Mako's escape capsule, and he arrived at the alien world. The place is full of alien monsters. He decisively turned on the self-destruct system. He finally managed to eject his pod 1 second before the countdown ended. Then there was a huge explosion at the bottom of the sea. The huge energy instantly destroyed the alien world. The passageway was successfully destroyed, and Lori and Mako successfully escaped. Lori and Mako are reunited at sea and are rescued by a search and rescue helicopter.